I'd love to spend a little more time on the product-led side of things at Productboard because I think it's super interesting. You mentioned, I think, did you have free trials or was it freemium? Like, how did you think about, did you time box kind of that free account experience? Yeah, how did you think about kind of those mechanisms to get them to, okay, like put in your credit card, not talk to sales or not? How did you think about that?
Yeah, I've thought about it a lot. I ended up like eventually I was in every, or not every, but at least weekly growth meetings because I was so deeply interested in how the team thought about like the user experience and how we sort of optimized for some of these natural kind of light bulb moments to get more experience from the product so that we did know who to like target based on their propensity to convert. But we didn't have freemium, at least not at the time. It was all sort of a trial experience. Believe it was 14 days, 15 days. And so if my memory serves me correctly. And so, yes, there was lots of sort of crafting a sales process initially around inbound based on who was requesting trial extensions, so much came in the way of this isn't going to be enough. And so that was a bit of an exchange as far as these trade-offs that you make for a conversation. Let's have a conversation, learn more about what you're trying to accomplish so that, we can ultimately end that certainly by achieving your intended outcome of getting more time in the product, but also helping us sort of go through that qualification and understand whether or not this is going to be a good opportunity for us to pursue.
And so when somebody reached out and asked for a trial extension, would you like force them to get on a call? Would you grant it in certain circumstances if they were like a good prospect? Would you do like a big sales pilot where it's like, okay, you can try it for 30 days, then you're going to upgrade at the end? Like, how did you think about that? Because we tried to do that at Doc and it was like, I felt like I was just moving these dates around, especially in the early days. We ended up doing more freemium, but yeah, how did you think about kind of like sandboxing that trial, extension?
We tried all those things. Like they're almost blurred in my memory as you like rattle them off, because I think we went through these stages of let's try this and let's try that. It was a lot of like, we'll have to chat if you want to, extend the trial. It's not a great user experience, but it was the way that we sort of managed to learn a lot about the customer and sort of decide. We never left those without extending it. It was not something we necessarily held hostage. But I would say that it was something at least I leaned on really heavily in lack of maybe better sales skills or other other things in my toolkit, as far as just sort of using using product access to kind of maintain a certain level of engagement. And in some cases, it really helped. Like extending that access and building trust led to some of our largest deals in the early days. But, it also, I think, reflected it, at least as far as my own approach went, like a bit of or like a lack of experience in sort of how to navigate more complex deals in a way that maybe you didn't require relying on something like a free trial and, kind of extending it, opposed to like your other example, which we did eventually try, like more like formal pilots or proof of concepts where we got really tight on success criteria and things of that nature that kind of led to a mutually agreed outcome.
I'm curious how you thought about sort of like product qualified leads, and if that was a concept that you were using at the time, like PQLs, were you scoring up all of these different activities within the product and be like, all right, this one's ready to buy? Like, did you use that, or was it really just like kind of this like time-based trial and that was the main trigger?
We didn't at like the time that I was in IC, like that. It wasn't so much a concept. Maybe it was, but not one I was familiar with. Like it's funny. I remember speaking with Alexa, who founded Pocus, like before she started the company, and we talked about this. And at the time, I was like, "This is amazing," And I think it was similar to Productboard when it first launched, as far as it being a concept with regards to product-led sales that wasn't really known or known very well. And so for us, like what we did was just try to like kind of like brute force our way into understanding it, started going into admin consoles and looking at what are the things that seem to give the highest signals, opposed to having this clear definition of what PQLs were in a really natural motion. We got there as a company, but in the early days and when I was selling, we didn't have those things. And like I recall like a really obvious in hindsight sort of light bulb moment for us was we saw how high conversion was when users had set up an integration with Jira, right? For reasons I had sort of mentioned before, like there was this really critical link happening between product and engineering that had been established, and those users converted at like 80+% into paid customers. And so much of our, that like catalyzed such effort on our part to then figure out like, how do we make that connection much easier and how do we help foster it?
Yeah, no, PQLs it's such a powerful concept, and shout out Alexa. I love what she's doing at at Pocus. But yeah, we haven't quite set up something like that at Doc because we're still so much in the experimentation phase of, and our analytics aren't robust enough to be like, all right, if they do this, they're exactly going to convert in that way. Like we're still just figuring kind of out and trying to ship as many features as possible. But I'm excited for the day where we have a very scientific PQL where it's like, okay, this person is ready to buy. So one day.
Totally. Yeah. It makes a big difference, but it's a tough nut to crack. Like even when you have like a great platform to help you with.